Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Emma. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here today.
And today, something that every single English learner needs and almost nobody teaches.
What happens when someone asks you a question in English and you do not know the answer?
Most learners do one of two things.
They go completely silent, or they say, "I don't know," and stop there.
But native speakers, they never do either of those things.
They have phrases ready-made, natural, that buy them time, that sound confident, that keep the conversation flowing.
Even when they have absolutely no idea what to say.
And today we are giving you 10 of those, all natural, all immediately usable, all yours by the end of this episode.
And before we start, please subscribe to Talk Emma. Share this with one friend who always freezes when they do not know the answer.
Okay, 10 phrases. Let's go. Emma, before we start, I want to try something.
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to answer, even if you are not sure.
Okay, ask me.
How many languages are spoken in the world today?
That is a really good question, actually.
You see, you did not panic. You did not go silent. You did not say, "I have no idea."
I just said, that is a really good question, actually. And suddenly, I had time to breathe, to think.
And I felt good because my question was acknowledged.
Two things happened at once. I bought myself thinking time, and I made you feel heard.
One phrase, two results.
And that is today's topic, because not knowing something is completely human. It happens to everyone.
Even native speakers, every single day.
The difference is they have the right phrases to handle that moment.
And after today, so do you.
Phrase 1. That is a really good question, actually.
Emma, I just saw you use it perfectly, but let me ask, why actually at the end?
Without actually, that is a good question. Fine, but slightly flat, slightly rehearsed.
Like something from a textbook.
Exactly, but with actually, that is a really good question, actually. Warm, genuine, natural.
Actually makes it feel real, like you just thought of it in that moment.
And really also important. That is a good question, polite. That is a really good question, genuine, you truly mean it. And after you say it, you pause, you think, and then you answer. That is a really good question, actually. Pause. I think it might be around 7,000.
You stayed in the conversation, you bought your time, and you answered.
Phrase 1, done. Phrase 2, I'm not entirely sure, but... Jack, say that to me.
I'm not entirely sure, but...
What did you notice at the end?
But the sentence did not finish.
Exactly, and that but, that's everything.
Why?
Because without but, I'm not entirely sure, full stop. Conversation over. You gave nothing.
But with but...
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to give you something, even if it's not perfect.
So but keeps the conversation alive.
And entirely, Jack, what does that word do?
It softens the uncertainty. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I have some idea, just not complete certainty.
So the phrase says two things at once. I'm being honest, I'm not certain, but I'm still helpful. I'm going to try.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think the meeting is at 3.
You stayed honest, you stayed helpful, you kept things moving.
One phrase, everything handled.
Phrase 3. Off the top of my head, I would say...
Emma, what does off the top of my head mean?
Think about it this way. Your brain has many layers. Deep inside, the carefully researched answers, the things you have studied, the things you know for certain.
And the top?
The top of your head, your immediate first thought, your quick instinct before you have time to research or think deeply.
So off the top of my head, I'm giving you my immediate first thought, not a researched answer.
And I would say, not I am saying.
What's the difference?
I am saying confident, certain. This is my answer. I would say softer, more careful. This is my best guess.
So the whole phrase, off the top of my head, I would say my immediate first thought, not certain, but honest.
Off the top of my head, I would say it takes about 2 hours.
You didn't say definitely 2 hours. You didn't say I have no idea.
Somewhere in between. Helpful, honest, natural.
Emma, off the top of my head, how many episodes of Talk Emma have we made?
Off the top of my head, I would say a lot.
Perfect, honest, natural. Moving on.
Phrase 4. Let me think about that for a second.
And this one, the most honest of all 10.
Because you are not pretending. You are not guessing. You are just openly claiming your thinking time.
Let me think about that for a second.
What happened there?
I did not go silent. I announced that I was thinking.
And that is everything, because silence feels awkward. But saying, let me think about that for a second,
The other person hears, okay, he's thinking. That's fine. I will wait.
nobody feels uncomfortable. Nobody thinks you do not know.
They just think he's being careful. He's taking this seriously.
And for a second, why not just say, let me think?
Because for a second tells the other person this will not take long.
I am not going away forever, just one moment, and then I'm coming back with something.
Let me think about that for a second. Pause. I think the best approach would be to start with the smaller tasks first.
You claimed your time, you thought, you answered.
Confident, calm, natural. Emma, can I say something completely random?
Go ahead.
I've been using these phrases for years, and I never once thought about why they work.
And now?
Now I understand. Each one does something very specific, very deliberate.
That's what Talk Emma is for.
Exactly. Okay, phrase 5.
Phrase 5. I couldn't say for certain, but...
Emma, how is this different from phrase 2? I'm not entirely sure, but...
Good question. They are similar, but the feeling is slightly different.
How?
I'm not entirely sure. Casual, warm, everyday conversation. I couldn't say for certain. Slightly more formal, more professional.
So in a casual conversation with a friend,
I'm not entirely sure, but very natural.
and in a work situation with a client, with a manager,
I couldn't say for certain, but more professional, more precise.
and for certain, what does that add?
For certain means with complete confidence, with no doubt at all. So I couldn't say for certain. I cannot give you a completely certain answer, but I can give you something.
I couldn't say for certain, but I believe the deadline is Friday.
You were honest, you were professional, and you still gave something useful.
The person asking feels, okay, she's not sure, but she's trying to help. I trust that.
And that feeling of trust, that's what this phrase builds.
Phrase 6. That's not really my area, but.
Say that phrase and then stop before but.
That's not really my area.
What did you feel?
Like I was shutting the door, like the conversation was ending.
Exactly. Without but, it sounds like wrong person, go ask someone else. I cannot help.
But with but,
That's not really my area, but I know I'm not the expert, but I'm still going to try to help you.
the but keeps the door open.
And not really. Very important there.
Why not just say, that's not my area?
That's not my area. Very definite. Almost dismissive, like absolutely nothing to do with me. That's not really my area. Softer, more humble, more natural.
Really softens it, makes it sound less like you're pushing the person away.
That's not really my area, but I think the finance team would know. You were honest about your limitations. You stayed helpful. You pointed them somewhere useful.
And the other person leaves feeling she tried, even though it wasn't her area.
That's what people remember. Not that you didn't know, but that you tried anyway.
Phrase 7. I would have to look into that.
This one, very powerful actually.
Why powerful?
Because most phrases in this list, they handle the moment. They buy time. They stay honest. But this one goes further.
It turns not knowing into a plan.
I would have to look into that.
What did you just say there?
I said, I do not know right now, but I am going to find out.
There is an action. There is a next step. There is a promise almost.
The other person hears, she does not know now, but she is going to find out. That's actually better than a guess.
And you can make it even stronger.
I would have to look into that. Can I get back to you by tomorrow?
Now you've turned I do not know into a commitment, a timeline, a professional response.
From uncertainty to action in one sentence.
Very impressive. Very native. Phrase 8. I'm not the best person to ask, but...
Jack, what do you notice about this phrase compared to phrase 6?
Phrase 6. That's not really my area. Phrase 8. I'm not the best person to ask.
Similar feeling, but slightly different focus.
How?
Phrase 6 about the topic. That topic is not my area. Phrase 8 about you. You personally are not the best person for this.
So phrase 6 sounds like wrong department, and phrase 8 sounds like wrong person.
Exactly. And not the best person, very important.
Why not just say, I'm not the right person?
Not the right person sounds final, like definitely not me, go away. Not the best person, softer, more humble, like there are better people, but I will still try.
Best instead of right completely changes the tone.
I am not the best person to ask, but I think Sophia might know.
You were honest, you redirected, you stayed helpful.
And, but, again, keeping the door open, always.
Always but.
Always but, the most important word in this whole episode. Phrase 9, my instinct would be,
This one, I love this one because it sounds so confident.
even when you're not certain.
Exactly. Most phrases in this list, they soften uncertainty.
But my instinct would be, it does something different.
What?
Instinct, that word, suggests you have felt things, you have seen things, you have been through things.
So when you say my instinct would be,
You are not saying, I guess, I think maybe, I'm not sure.
you're saying based on everything I know, based on my experience, my gut feeling says this.
My instinct would be to wait a few more days before making a decision.
You gave a clear direction. You sounded experienced. You sounded confident.
Without actually being certain.
That's remarkable. One phrase turns uncertainty into confidence.
And would be, not just would. My instinct is sounds very certain, almost like a fact. My instinct would be softer, more careful. This is my feeling, not a guarantee.
My instinct would be that she already knows.
You shared your gut feeling, confidently, honestly, naturally.
My instinct would be to use this phrase every single day.
Good instinct.
And phrase 10, the last one, and a perfect one to end on.
I would need to double check that.
Double check. Why double?
Think about it. To check something, you look at it once. To double check, you look at it again, a second time, to make absolutely sure.
So double check signals I take accuracy seriously. I don't want to give you wrong information.
I would need to double check that.
What did that say to me?
I have some idea, but I'm not completely certain, and I care enough to verify before I tell you.
That's actually very impressive because most people just guess.
But saying I would need to double check that signals responsibility, signals care.
I would need to double check that, but I think the deadline is Friday.
You gave your best guess and you committed to verifying it.
And you can add to it. I would need to double check that. Can I confirm with you this afternoon?
Now you have a plan, a time, a commitment.
From I don't know to I'll find out and come back to you.
That transformation in one phrase.
That's the power of knowing the right words. Now, one complete natural conversation, all 10 phrases, flowing naturally.
Two colleagues in a meeting, questions coming from everywhere.
Emma, how many units did we sell last quarter?
That's a really good question, actually. Off the top of my head, I would say around 2000, but I would need to double check that before confirming.
And the new project timeline, when does phase 2 begin?
Let me think about that for a second. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it starts sometime in March.
Do you know which team is leading it?
I couldn't say for certain, but I think it might be the operations team. That's not really my area, so I wouldn't want to guess.
And the budget?
I'm not the best person to ask on that one, but my instinct would be that it's quite significant given how much attention the project has been getting.
Fair enough. And the client presentation, when is that?
I would have to look into that. Can I get back to you by end of day with the exact date?
Perfect. Thank you, Emma.
And did everyone catch all 10 phrases? 10 phrases, 1 meeting, all natural, all confident, all honest.
And not once did Emma say, I don't know, and stop there.
Because I don't know is never the end of the conversation.
It's just the beginning of a better answer. Before we finish, I want to say something.
Say it.
Most learners think, if I don't know the answer, I've failed.
But that's not true, not even slightly.
Not knowing something is completely human. It happens to everyone.
Even the most confident native speakers don't know everything.
The difference is they have the right phrases to handle that moment gracefully.
If today's episode gave you 10 phrases you will actually use, please like this video.
Subscribe to Talk Emma.
Share this with one friend who always freezes when they don't know the answer.
And leave us a comment.
Which phrase are you going to use first?
Or use any phrase from today right now in the comments.
We read every single comment, every one.
Thank you for being here. See you in the next episode. Until then.
Keep talking, keep learning, and keep growing. Bye, everyone.